And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're receiving this information. My name is Rafael Vasquez Guzman, and today we're going to do DACA renewals. It is important that we understand that you do not, I want to be clear, you do not have to go to an attorney to do your DACA renewal. We're going to teach you how to do it on your own. I know that some individuals have been reporting that attorneys are charging $750 to $1,000 or more just for filling out these forms. We're going to teach you how to do this. You're welcome to go to our website, lideresdelfuturo.org, and make a donation. We're a nonprofit organization. We continue to provide services to the community of Sonoma County and the counties around it. But again, we believe that knowledge, to the best of our ability, should be free. We are not attorneys. We do not pretend to be attorneys. We just have been doing DACA and DACA renewals, advanced paroles for the last 11 years now. And therefore, we are more than happy to offer this information for free. There are 4 forms that you need to use in order to do your DACA renewal. And so you can go to uscis.gov, uscis.gov, and all you have to do is type in the search button, DACA Renewals 2023, and it will take you to where the forms are. Individuals are choosing to do them online. I don't do them online. This is what I'm familiar with. This is what I'm comfortable with. And this is what I'm comfortable teaching you, because the online version is more complex. And especially we're going to try and fill them out online. Okay. So the first thing you want to make sure is you have the latest version, which in this situation, this is the 821D. This is the first form. This is the one that when it's granted will allow you to live in the United States for the next 2 years. Remember, DACA renewals need to be done 6 months prior to expiration to avoid having a period of time where you don't have DACA, and that can mean that you lose your job, you are not allowed to drive legally. And so individuals sometimes say, especially in California, oh no, my driver license is valid for 5 years. Yes and no. The state of California didn't want to have to reprint driver licenses every 2 years. That's why they give those. But the understanding is the moment your DACA expires, then your license expires. Okay, so they don't give you a new one when you go and renew it, but that's just how it is. Okay, so here's the thing. Make sure that the expiration date is valid. So you don't want to use an old forms. Otherwise, they'll send it back to you. And then here what we do is you're doing a DACA renewal. And let's just say that mine expires on September 16, 2023. And again, in Mexico and Central America, for the most part, we are celebrating our independence. And so then the other thing is my name. And so I always suggest that people do this in uppercase letters. And so let's say this is my information and my first name. And let's say I have a middle name of whatever it is. And then my address is going to be 123. And you know what, we're going to use our nonprofit address just so that you become familiar with where you're located, where we are located, 1260 North Dayton Avenue, and it's Suite 230 in Santa Rosa, California, 95401. It says, have you ever been in removal proceedings? So this is where we stop and tell you that if you have been arrested, detained by the police, if you have been accused of a crime since your last renewal, this is where you should stop and go see an immigration officer. If you're in Sonoma County, you can come and talk to us, and then we can refer you to a trustworthy immigration attorney, that is, because we want to make sure that you are not in deportation proceedings, that it is not going to cause you problems. Sometimes people got into some type of trouble. They haven't finalized the paperwork. Sometimes they are falsely accused, and we want to make sure that they don't get into deportation proceedings. So unless the answer is no, again, if the answer is no, you can do this on your own. If the answer is yes, you're in some type of proceedings, then let's talk and let's refer you to the right person. And then we go to the next page, and that's where most individuals will end up with a 204, 207, 209, or 214 for the sake of this number appears in your DACA work permit. For the sake of conversation, I'm just going to add some random numbers, and your social security number also needs to be there. The numbers will never match. Your social security and your A number, which is your work permit, have to have different numbers. And then your birthday, whatever your birthday is, you put 2 numbers for the month, 2 numbers for the year, for the day, excuse me, and then 4 digits. Let's say in this situation, we are going to put 2001. Your gender, and then the town where you were born. This is in your birth certificate. And the other thing I want to tell you here is you have the right to go to the attorney that maybe has been preparing this for you. And you have the right to say, I need a copy of my paperwork. They legally cannot deny you that. We have been informed by your attorneys that it is your right to ask for that. They may charge you 10 cents, 25 cents per copy. That's fine, but you still are entitled to this documentation. Okay. And so in this situation, let's say that we were born in a town called Santa Rosa in the country of Mexico, for example, and that we currently live in the United States. And again, we are Mexicans from Mexico. And let's say you are single. If you're married, you would indicate that. And then we go back up here for a second, and your ethnic background. So many of us are Latino, Latina, Latinx. If you're Mexican, technically you're white in here, but many of us choose to leave it blank. Maybe you are 5'3", let's say, and you weigh 150. And your color hair maybe, your eye color, excuse me, is black maybe, and your color hair is black as well. And the question here is whether or not you have been living in the United States since previously to June 15, 2007. If you qualify for DACA, the answer is yes. So you just say yes to that. And then here is your residency. Where do you live? Now, some people will want their mail to go to a certain address, and you live in a different address. So since when have you lived in this address? This is also where we stop and remind you that the law requires you to let immigration know if you have relocated within 10 days. Within 10 days. You would go again to uscis.gov and you would fill out form AR11. You can do it online, and in a few minutes you can do it. So if you're doing your DACA renewal, you can go do that, get your updated information there, and then put it in here. And let's say you moved there January 1st, 2023, and now you live at some random place. And again, your zip code, right? Whatever your address is, it could be the same one. Maybe you want to receive your mail and you live at the same address. Some people will have 2 different addresses here. You live at one address, but again, you put the mailing address in another space because maybe you live with multiple roommates and your mail disappears from time to time, but you want to use the mailing address as your parents' address or somebody that you trust, okay? And this part, again, the other piece is many people erroneously list all the addresses that they live. That was only the first time you apply for DACA. Renewals don't need that. So you don't need to do that, just the present address. Now, if you done DACA, advanced parole, and you left the country and came back, then that's where you would put when do you leave, when do you come back, and the reason, and that would be advanced parole here. If you haven't left the country at all, you just put, no, I haven't left the country since August 15, 2012 without permission, right? If you left with DACA, no worries, you still put no here. With advanced parole, but in this situation, you're fine, nothing here. Nothing here. Here, all you're doing is what is your education, right? Maybe you graduated from high school graduate, and maybe you graduated from, I don't know, let's say Santa Rosa High in Santa Rosa, California, and maybe you graduated June 15, 2015, let's say. Have you been in the armed forces? No. And then in this side, you don't have to do anything else. On this side, all of them need to be no. If again, you have been arrested recently or charged with a misdemeanor or a felony, and you say yes, you need to stop here and go talk to an immigration attorney. But for most of you, all of you, hopefully the answer is no, right? And then you can move to the next one. And here we're done with this form. It's that simple. Yes, I can read and write in English. Today's date, I am creating this on September 16th. The phone number, again, whatever your phone number goes here, and your email address, right? So we just want to make sure that you have that information. And so that's our email address here at Líderes del Futuro. And again, your phone number could go here. And that's it. You're ready to do that. You're going to sign here where it says requester signature. So you need to print it and hand sign it. You cannot just put your name. You cannot sign digitally. In this one, literally, immigration requires what do they call a wet signature, which means a regular pen, blue, black will work. Okay. And that's it. That one is ready to go. And all you do is you save it, you save a copy so you can use it in future renewals because the forms are going to change a little bit, but in general, it's easy as that. And then you print it, it's 7 pages. So in this one, we only did 5 pages. If you go to the 6th page, there's nothing you need to do. If you go to the 7th page, automatically, most of your computers will have copied your name and your A number in here. But when you print it, if you have an Apple computer, for the most part, Apple computers do not do that. So you put your name again here and your A number. You can do by hand. You can handwrite it, no big deal. And other than that, you are ready to go. And that's it. And that is the one that allows you to live in the United States for the next 2 years. Then you need to get a work permit. So we go to this one, 765I. And again, you see the expiration date. It's not until the future, 2025. So that's perfect. And again, you can go to uscis.gov and you can download the forms there. And what are we doing? Is it an initial application? No. Is it a replacement? Hopefully not. It's a renewal. And so again, we're going to do this and it's going to be fast because the A21D is the most difficult one. So let's say you put your last name. If you have multiple last names, please make sure that it matches whatever you told immigration the first time. If you got married, you can put married now and your new last name if you changed it. Okay, and that's that. Nothing on the right side. You go here, and again, you put your mailing address. For us, again, is the 1260 North Dayton Avenue, Suite 230. And this is in Santa Rosa, California, and the zip code is 95401. And here it's going to pop up in a second. You ignore that. And then you say again, if you have 2 addresses, then you say, no, my mailing address and my physical address are different. Therefore, you have to type that information down here. But if you say yes, then that's it. You don't have to do anything else there. And you go down here, your A number again. You look in your work permit card and it's going to say USCIS number. And for most people with DACA, it's going to say 204, 207, 209, and or 214. If you're male or female, nothing here. Your marital status. Have you applied before? Yes. Has the Social Security Administration given you a card before? Yes. And as a result of that, you have to give them your Social Security number again. And again, if you, hopefully you memorize it by now. And then it says, do you want the Social Security number to send you a new card? If you have yours, the answer is no. If you lost yours, the answer is yes. But remember, if you ever lose your work permit or your Social Security card, you need to report it immediately to the police. It's important. And then what country you come from. In my situation, we're going to put Mexico here. Again, nothing over here about your parents. If you want a card, replacement card, you do have to put your parents' information. But if not, Mexico or whatever country you're from. And that takes us to the next form. And again, let's say you are from the town of Santa Rosa, somewhere in Mexico, let's say. Let's say you are like myself. I'm privileged to be from Oaxaca, Mexico, and then from the country of Mexico. And your birthday, maybe you are from January 1st, 2001. If you have your passport and it's valid, hopefully, remember immigration says, and our immigration attorneys tells us this all the time, your passport for your home country has to be valid at all times. And so please make sure to put that information here. Let's say your passport number is A and it has a bunch of numbers. And it says, what country gave it to you? Mexico in my situation. And when does it expire? Let's say it expires September 15th of 2026, let's say. And just a reminder, I know I'm doing this application on September 16th for our community in Sonoma County, California, in Northern California, that is. Remember, the Mexican consulate will be in Santa Rosa on September 23rd. So depending when you're watching this video, it may be too late. You can start calling for the September 23rd. You can start calling 424-309-0009. Starting on September 19th at noon, you can also send messages using WhatsApp. Again, 424-309-0009. Starting at noon, you can send messages for WhatsApp. You can call via your regular phone and make an appointment to get your passport or to renew your passport if it's not valid. Okay. And that is being hosted by Líderes del Futuro Avanzando, this nonprofit organization. And when did you arrive? Again, if you arrive here and you haven't left the country with advance parole, maybe you arrived January 1st, 2002, and you were a year old. If you have left with advanced parole and come back, which again, Líderes del Futuro has a brand new program that does that. If you have done that, then we want to remind you that you have to update your information. You are no longer somebody who arrived recently. You are somebody who arrived some time ago. But Líderes del Futuro has a new program called Sanación y Cultura. You can send me an email at lideresdelfuturo@yahoo.com. We are already planning our next visit to Mexico City using advanced parole. It's part of our educational program with organizations in Mexico City. It's a valid program according to immigration. Moving on, let's say then that you haven't left the country since you originally arrived, and let's say you came to California. And you had no status, so you just put no status. So if you came as an undocumented child, that's what you put. Some individuals came with a visa as a visitor visa and overstayed their visa. It could be a B1 or B2 visitor for pleasure. But most people will be individuals with no status. And here, what do you have? DACA. And that's it. On this side, on the left side of the form, you're done. On the right side, all you're applying is for a C-33, which tells them is a work permit as a result of DACA. And that's it. You're done with this page, nothing to do here. And we are done with this form. We're just going to tell them that we can read in English and we can write in English your phone number and your email address. And that's it. You sign in it today, you print it, and again, you'll sign it by hand. And again, This also goes for 7 pages, but there's nothing else that you need to do. None of this information is necessary unless, again, your computer doesn't create this automatically. Then you put that here on page 7 and your A number. And that's it. That paperwork is ready to go. But you need to do 2 more forms. So these are quickly. And so this is called the 765I or I-765. In order to get the work permit, you have to justify why you need a work permit. Super simple form. Your name. And we agreed we were going to have a second first name. And then here, how much did you make last year? It doesn't have to be a fully accurate number. You can go check your taxes. You can do a guesstimate to the best of your ability. So let's say I earn $19,000. How much did you spend? Well, if I live in Northern California, unfortunately, $19,000 is never enough, but that's what I have. And then here, the total value of your assets includes how much do you have in savings, in money markets, in investments in the stock market. If you have a vehicle and you already finished paying it, how much is it worth if you were to sell it today? Not how much it costs you, but how much if you were to sell it. And also maybe a tablet, a cell phone, computer, television, but it's anything that is already paid for. Okay, it's not if you're making payments because that is owned by the credit card company or the bank. If it's paid for, then that counts. And so let's say we have $400 to our name. And now here, you just need to provide a simple explanation as to why you need DACA. You can pause the video and literally just copy what I wrote here. I am grateful to have obtained DACA as it has allowed me the opportunity to continue with my education and to legally work. I am in need of DACA renewal in order to provide for myself and support my family. That could be, if you're single, it could be your mom, your dad, your sisters, brothers, whomever. And then I thank you for your consideration of my request. Again, that's it. This form is done. No signatures, no nothing. You just print it and that's it. And that takes us to the last form, and that is the simplest form of all. You just go to the bottom. Again, one last thing I will check with you on here. Remember the date. The date is essential. And the G1145, that's not going to be, if you go to uscis.gov and you look at their DACA, you're going to find these 3 forms, but you're not going to find the G1145. That one, you go to uscis.gov and you look under forms and look for this form, and it's going to be there. And this is the one that once they receive your application, they will send you an email or a text to let you know they received the application. That's all it is. So quickly. And again, my email address. And my phone number, let's say. And that's that. And those are all the forms. You print all of this. Page 5 of 821D, which is the first form. You're just going to sign it. And then you're ready to go. And again, that goes here, page 5, top right. And then on the 765, page 4, right? Page 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right side, you always look at this arrow, and that's where you're going to print it and sign it by hand, blue, black ink. And then you print 821D, 765, 765WS, and G1145. Put it as a packet, 2 US size passport pictures, 2 US passports, 2 US size passport pictures, and then you're gonna need to write a check or 2 checks or money orders, one for $85 and the other one for $410. You direct it to USCIS, and that's it. The pictures, this, the 4 forms. And then you need to make a copy of both sides of the work permits and a copy of your last letter of approval that should say I-767. And then about a quarter of the page in is going to say 821D letter of approval. And that's it. That's what you need in the packet. So I'll say it one more time. The 4 forms, 821D, 765, 765WS, and G1145, and 2 pictures, US passport size, both sides of your work permit, copies of both sides of the work permit, 1 copy of your last letter of approval that should say a quarter of the page down on the right side, it should say 821D. If you absolutely cannot find it, mail the stuff without that one. Some people didn't get it this last time. And then 2 checks or money orders, one for $85, one for $410 to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, also known as USCIS. You can just write that, USCIS. And that goes to, depending where you are. If you are in California or Arizona, you mail it out to USCIS, attention DACA, P.O. Box 2700. 20700, Phoenix, Arizona, 85036-0700. This is if you're using regular USPS, if you're just going to the mail, which is perfectly fine. It takes 2 to 3 days at the latest to get there. If for whatever reason you want to send it overnight, the address on the right is the one, but I suggest you don't bother with it. You also don't have to send it certified or anything else. We haven't had any issues. I do about 60 to 100 of this every year. If you are in another state and you are joining us today, watching this from wherever you are, whether it is Alaska or any of the other states listed here, your mailing address is going to be USCIS, attention DACA, P.O. Box 660045, and that's going to go to Texas. Okay, and that's it. That's all you have to do. I hope this information is useful to you. Again, we are Líderes del Futuro Avanzando. We are a nonprofit organization in Northern California, and you're welcome to go to our website, líderesdelfuturo.org, líderesdelfuturo.org, and on a daily basis, we also put information from that website. You can go to my YouTube channel from that website. You can go to our Instagram from that website. You can go to our TikTok, where we put a positive message for mental health every day. And remember, we are going to go to Mexico City, March 16th through 23rd. Only DACA recipients who haven't had any issues with the law will be able to participate. And this is not a vacation. This is an educational opportunity in regards to anthropology, in regards to psychology and psychiatry, and much, much more. If you're interested in joining us for that, again, go to our website, send us an email. You can send an email to lideresdelfuturo@yahoo.com, and we'll send you the link so you can join us for the orientation day. And with that, I thank you for your time. My name is Rafael Vasquez Guzman, and I look forward to posting more information that hopefully will be of benefit to you. Thank you.